Ας περάσουμε τώρα στο επόμενο θέμα που έχει να κάνει με το Φόρουμ Επιχειρηματικότητας που διοργανώθηκε στο Hellenic Center από το σύλλογο Επιστήμη των Βρετανών Κυπρίων Επαγγελματιών. Επικεφαλής ήταν ο πρόεδρος της Εθνικής Κυπριακής Ομοσπονδίας, Κύριος Πήτερ Δρουσιώτης. Θέμα του φόρουμ ήταν επιχειρήσεις στην εκπαίδευση και η εκπαίδευση στην επιχείρηση. Κύριος ομιλητής ήταν ο καθηγητής Κύριος Παννίκος Πουτζιούρης. Ας παρακολουθήσουμε την εισαγωγή από τον πρόεδρο της Εθνικής Κυπριακής Ομοσπονδίας, κύριο Πήτερ Δρουσιώτη.
Thank you for joining us today. When this event was organized, we hadn't realized that Cyprus was going to be in the eye of the storm in the way that it has been and in the way that it is today. And I think it makes, this event even more relevant because I believe that it will now be crucial, for Cyprus to regenerate its economy, to stabilize its economy and to regenerate it. And I think that the sort of schemes that Pannikos, will present in a minute are valuable, in that sense. And I think will require these sort of initiatives, in the future in terms of where the island has to go. I'm very pleased that we're here. I see this as an opportunity for us to have a discussion, to interact with each other. And following Pannikos' presentation, I very much welcome your contribution and your ideas as to how we can take this forward. There's no question that as a result of what has gone on the island, that the banking sector there will contract and the financial services sector will suffer as a result of these developments. So I think it would make it even more important for Cypriots to diversify their economy, to look at other ways to generate wealth. And I think these sort of schemes, are designed to contribute, to the development of the island's intellectual capital and to that sort of diversification of the knowledge that exists on the island. So I think that they're very relevant to what is going on the island today. I've known Pannikos for a very long time, and I think he's extremely well placed to speak, with passion about entrepreneurship. He's been involved in this area of research for many, many years. He's done a hell of a lot of work in this field, and he's extremely well qualified to speak on the subject, but also to relate, this subject to what is happening on the island today. I think, when I discussed this with Pannikos a few months ago, both he and I attributed a lot of significance to the diaspora, in this sense, because I think that the diaspora, in this country is well placed to play a key role in relation to the regeneration of Cyprus's economy. And, we have a lot of talent in this community. And I will visit the island on Friday. I will be there for several days. And I'm expecting that I will have meetings with the presidents and ministers and other key individuals, on the island, including the chairman of the Cyprus Investment Promotion Authority, the chairman of the Cyprus Hydrocarbons Company. So the idea behind that is to develop a dialogue with them and to see how we can develop a strategic alliance between the diaspora and members of the diaspora and the government as well as other institutions on the island. So I really think that, this subject, enterprise in education, education and enterprise, is extremely relevant to that initiative. I'm delighted that we have here a number of people who are themselves, individually very well qualified to make a contribution to this initiative. And Councillor Stephen Alabritis, who is the leader of Merton Council, is one of the most prominent Cypriot politicians in this country, but he's also somebody who understands the business world. I'm delighted that you're here, Stephen, and we look forward to your contribution in a minute. But we have with us a number of other important people. Elenia Kovidou, whom I didn't know until very recently, is a partner in the city. She's a solicitor specializing in insurance and financial services. We have Athos Kaisidis, who is a banker. We've got Savas Panayotou, who is another solicitor and secretary of Epistήμη. We have Professor Harlambus. So even though we have a compact group, we have some people who have the knowledge and they have the skills and the talents, to add value to the debate today. I'm going to end there, but I think that the diaspora, is a crucial element of whatever strategy the Cypriot government will adopt, in terms of regenerating and reconstructing Cyprus's economy in the future. And that is the message that I will convey to the politicians on the island when I meet with them. But I think it's a message that has to be conveyed by all of you to them as well, that they must realize that, yes, it's nice to have the UK Cypriot community, but it's not just nice to have us here. I think we can be ambassadors for the island. We can be advocates for the island in this country. I think we can challenge them as well. We can be a challenger to them. And they need to be challenged, on the island, because they have been within their comfort zone for far too long. And I think that is something that has to change. And we have a powerful network, not just in the UK, but, internationally, in the US, in the Gulf, in Europe, in Australia, and so on, in Asia even. And I think we've got to utilize those networks far more intelligently. And I think we are a greenhouse of ideas and talent as well. So these are the sort of voices that we need to, articulate as we move forward. So I'm going to end there. I'm now going to introduce Pannikos to you, and I'm sure, he will both, inform you as well as perhaps entertain you. Over to Pannikos. Thank you very much.
Στη συνέχεια στο βήμα ανέβηκε ο κύριος ομιλητής του Φόρουμ, καθηγητής κύριος Παννίκος Πουτζιούρης, ο οποίος ανέπτυξε το θέμα «Επιχειρήσεις στην εκπαίδευση και εκπαίδευση στην επιχείρηση». Στο τέλος της ομιλίας του, οι παρευρισκόμενοι υπέβαλαν τις ερωτήσεις τους. Ας παρακολουθήσουμε ένα απόσπασμα από την ομιλία του.
Good evening. Thank you, Peter, for the colorful introduction. As you can tell from my accent, I have been for over two decades related to the Northwest. You can tell that I do have a Manchester accent. And today I'm delighted to be here. We always look forward for bridges with the diaspora. Yes, I do pay my taxes in the Republic of Cyprus. I am heading the new University Business School on the island. I have been a member of the Hellenic Center, and I've made instructions that we become an organizational member, because as a university, we epitomize also enterprise. And it's paramount that in the new era that unfolds as a result of the recent developments on the island, we need to invest more in education, better education. And education is not just about qualifications and skills, it's ethos. Η ηθική είναι η πεπτουσία of professionalism. And I think one of the reasons we are where we are, maybe we have eroded the ethos. And there has been more priority on the short-termism. So, as a new university on the island, yes, we aspire to build quality education, invest in research, innovation, so that we can continuously upgrade, update our knowledge, our skill base, inform on best practice, inform the policy debate, build bridges with all the stakeholders, and that's locally, regionally, globally, but the bridge with the diaspora is always close to my heart, because I know it's important that we keep that relationship and strengthen it across generations. And fourthly, as a university, yes, we would like to do research, collaboration, cooperation with other universities and other organizations. And I think that the topic which I have chosen for tonight, it will give me the opportunity to illustrate, through the recent initiative, the business idea competition, that we involve a lot of partners and stakeholders, that we would like to do what we preach. Okay, so the presentation discussion tonight, it's enterprise in education and education in enterprise. Already some people were asking me, what's the difference? We are all human beings and there is a life cycle. The education, it's tailored to the life cycle. Primary, secondary at the gymnasium, secondary at the lyceum, technical vocational education, and then is the university, and then the European Union has been promoting the lifelong learning. So enterprise, it's part of that. It offers the opportunities for the university, but every school to practice, what we teach. And, in line with the Chinese and the Greek philosophers, if I preach tonight, you'll forget. If I show you, you'll remember. If I give you an activity, you'll learn, you'll practice. So I'm here to learn myself, and I welcome everybody. Thank you for honoring the invitation. The structure is to set the scene. What is this enterprise in education? When do we give the baton to the second phase and invest in entrepreneurship, in the curriculum? I will illustrate what we do wearing the UCLan hat, and obviously I'm still associated with Manchester Business School. I was in town for the last 2-3 days teaching at London Business School. I am involved also with the George Business School, teaching, delivering executive education, focusing on family businesses and business families. Then, what we have introduced on the island is the first Center for Entrepreneurship. We use the acronym CEDAR, Center for Entrepreneurial Development and Research. We have launched a couple of initiatives. The mega forum that we have hosted was branded as Panorama of Entrepreneurship, and we have declared the opening of the Business Idea Competition. I'll say a few words on the Business Idea Competition and what are the opportunities there. And then I will run a mini workshop. We can practice creativity, the ideation. How can we practice and generate some creative ideas? Because you get a lot of ideas, but obviously in enterprise you need to concentrate on the best business ideas. And then γνώθησε αυτόν, knowing your limitations, you know how to address some of these gaps and build that team to launch the enterprise. So I'll call that the training toolkit. It's only, again, in line with what are the selection criteria, for the winning teams when they participate in the business idea competition. And then I will offer also some highlights, a few other initiatives that we promote in Cyprus, jointly with the University of Cyprus. Is a business plan competition, but also the latest in terms of entrepreneurship schemes, where the governments, are signing some checks for some startup entrepreneurs. The Stegios Foundation, what do they promote for bicommunal enterprises? And please feel free to jump in, for that dialogue, during the session. Okay, so from creativity to innovation to enterprise. it's essential to think creatively, for new innovations that will make a difference. A difference, it could be, at the household, it could be at the micro level of the economy, it could be at the macro level, it could be favorable impact on building a better life, saving our planet. This could be technological, it could be science, it could be simply a new design, it could be a solution to a problem. We need this creativity. We call this the ideation. It's the first stage of the innovation process. You get a lot of ideas. We need to have a kind of a filtering system and evaluate which one is more feasible, doable, given our constraints, given the size of the opportunity. Am I going to do this independently within my organization, or go Dutch, as we say, and do it independently, leave your job, do it in parallel to your employment? And of course, we have a lot of forums nowadays where we enthuse new innovations, and especially, the UK government through the DTI has been supporting a lot of initiatives in this respect. Some examples of innovation now. And innovation, a lot of people, they often confuse that with science. Okay, yes, innovation is a new product, like, what I used to change the slides. Continuously we have incremental developments, it's a pointer, so you can see multifunctionality within the product. It could be a service, the internet, the service economy continuously. Reading the newspaper, somebody was advertising a service that you can invite or you can recruit mourners for funerals, because you may organize a funeral and, the family doesn't turn up because of internal strife. And what you can do, you can go to the company and hire people to dress up in black. Obviously, you're not expecting them to cry a lot, but, that's the latest.
Εδώ να σας αναφέρουμε ότι ολόκληρη την ομιλία θα την παρακολουθήσετε προσεχώς στο Hellenic TV.